Hello, and very nice to have you with us today, Nathaniel.
Hi,
To start
James.
off, can you share with us a little bit about your organization and how do you care for seniors?
Sure. So about our organization, Keppel is a Singapore-based international asset manager and operator. This means that for a given asset, take a senior living community, for example, we have the capability to run a state-of-the-art operation that generates high satisfaction for our customers. Concretely, that means bringing dignity, fun, autonomy, and care to the seniors and their families, while we create value for the investors in our various funds. So we make an impact both on society while ensuring our operation are financially viable, sustainable, and rewarding. So as part
Excellent.
of this mission, Keppel has identified senior living as one of our key growth engines for reasons you're fully aware of, the demographic evolution in Asia, the world, and in the world at large. We're actually exploring opportunities globally. A few years ago, we made a first move in the United States with the partial acquisition of Watermark, which is one of the leading operators in the senior living sector in the US. They manage about over 70 communities, amounting to approximately 12,000 units. And simultaneously, while we plan to continue developing in the US and in Europe, we're also focusing on Asia. So you're you're probably the best positioned person to know that despite considerable efforts over the past few years, senior living is still a relatively nascent industry in Asia. So here in Asia, we're looking for new opportunities. That means chances to introduce new concepts from abroad to the local market, but also chances to innovate with completely new business models starting from Singapore and China. This is why we have launched a new service offering dedicated to Asia. It's our new operating platform, and hopefully you'll hear a lot about us. It's called Sindora Living. And under Sindora Living, we're now launching our first community in Asia. It's a 400-bed assisted living facility with comprehensive care capabilities, which is located in Nanjing. I don't know if you know the city. It's in China.
Yeah.
You're welcome to visit anytime. Our ambition is to become one of the leading providers of senior living products and services. So we will begin with high-end assisted living communities, and ultimately we aim to expand our range of options to include other services like home care, nursing homes, CCRCs, continuing care retirement communities, and of course digital offerings.
Fantastic. Well, for our audience there, the words senior living and assisted living, sometimes they are used simultaneously. What does assisted living of the future mean? What does daily life look like for an older person living in the assisted living facility that you just mentioned, Sindora?
So yeah, that's a very tricky question, but senior living encompasses any kind of residential offering, probably for people that are aging. So I don't know when aging starts. Is it 55, 65, 80? But this is really a very broad a very broad category. But within this category, because when you're talking about people from 60 years old to potentially 120 years old, it's absurd to believe that your residents will have the same needs, the same aspirations, and they will all like the same thing and will all need the same thing. So there are different kinds of offering. And we believe assisted living is probably the best one because these are communities for people who have some needs. They come to us because they have some needs, and we're able to accompany them as they age, probably until the very end. But we're doing so in a way that is very different from, for instance, a traditional nursing home, which looks more like a hospital and which is really focused on care.
I think that's great. Well, at this point, I would also like to touch on the topic of care leadership. What does care leadership mean to you, and how does it relate to these awesome developments and fantastic market opportunities that are way ahead? What does care leadership mean to you?
So care leadership, that's pretty much what I just said, actually. It's not just about care, it's about life. So we are institutions, communities, facilities, I don't know how you want to call them, but we provide care. And offering excellent care, it's crucial. but we shouldn't provide care just for the sake of providing care. We should provide it to enhance the overall quality of life of our residents. So the first consideration is probably individualization and personalization. So care leadership, it's about delivering the precise care each individual would need. It's not about over standardizing where everyone gets the same care, everyone lies in bed and waits all day long. No, it's really about considering each individual, assessing every aspect of their life, not only their health, but also their mental, cognitive well-being, their family context, their personal history, what they like, what they don't like, their life purpose, their aspirations. So we need to understand our residents really holistically. And with this understanding, we can then design care plans, but also life plans that really align with their desires, their needs. I think this is where the real leadership lies. It's really our ability to develop customized programs for each person.
I think definitely the leadership and the care philosophy, these are all really big factors that make managing such facilities a success. Well, at this point, how about sharing with us a story about how a senior's life has improved in your care, through the other developments that you have led?
Oh, I have actually many stories. We have many profiles, various profiles of residents.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
let me share two stories without naming names or places, of course.
Okay, of course.
The first story, it's about a very gentle lady whose mobility had been declining for many years. Eventually, her family decided to move her into a wheelchair. It was easier for them, actually. I'm not blaming the family. The family had many constraints. They had many parameters to take into account, but and family members are very often in great distress, actually. And in that case, they face difficult decisions. But ultimately, they decided to move her into a wheelchair. And as a result, this gentle lady physical capabilities began to deteriorate. And with that, her cognitive abilities also started to wane. She became less socially engaged. She lost connections, and at some point, this led to a general decline to the point where she even stopped communicating, which ultimately prompted the decision from the family to bring her into a senior living community. And so what we really managed to achieve with this gentle lady was bring her back up. I mean, standing up. It may seem very minor, but from a human dignity perspective, it's really substantial. When you're seated in a wheelchair all day, you're looking at the world from a lower perspective. You have no control over your movements or choices. Others, they move you around as they see fit. And the dignity that comes from standing on your feet, even if it's just half an hour a day, it means regaining control over your life, your mobility. It's priceless, immeasurable. So by doing this, we initiated a virtuous circle, actually. Gradually, she became more communicative. We're not doing miracles. We're not performing miracles. I'm not trying to sell you magic here, but this may seem very small improvement for someone healthy like you, but at her age, it was really amazing. So the family saw it. She seemed much more happier, much happier. And that's a case I'm actually particularly proud of.
That's a beautiful story.
Second, very common scenario, another one involves couple who join our communities when they have varying levels of dependency. So for instance, one partner is quite healthy. He or she enjoys golf, social gatherings, dining out, and the other one has a greater care and nursing needs. So usually the healthier partner, due to their life partner's dependency, they experience constraints on their lifestyle. So not only the dependent resident has the care issues and the health issues, but the healthy resident is not able to live a life on his or her own terms. So that leads to a less active social life, significant fatigue, usually, which can impact their overall health and well-being. So after such couple join our communities, on one side, we can offer excellent care to the more dependent partner. And in turn, that frees up the more independent partner to enjoy their activities. So the result is that both individuals can return to a life that is not completely normal, but closer to normalcy. And the value, I mean, the value of this for the seniors and for their families, it's again priceless. It helps the couple to focus their lives and even their relationship on happy moments, and we take care of the rest. So we've seen really this kind of transformation many times, and it's a common situation. But every time we witness it, we feel pretty proud. We feel the pride of a job well done, actually.
Yeah, your team and your team should feel very proud of the achievements you've done. They are both beautiful, very wonderful stories that you've just shared, and thank you so much. I wish we had more time for more stories, but I think this links it nicely to the next discussion point, where we want to talk about the difference between achieving quality of life and quality of care for residents that we are looking after. Can you share with us, where do you see the link between the two, or where do you see the challenges in offering the two and the balance, and what is important for residents who live in your facilities?
That brings us back actually to what is our philosophy. And very often we're talking about care philosophy. I prefer to just talk about philosophy. And the foundation of this philosophy is that every individual is unique. And the goal of this philosophy, I'm sorry if it doesn't sound super fancy, but it's to make our residents' lives as normal as possible. A normal life in this context, that means living a life on your own terms. It's not about, I mean, residents that move into senior living communities, as I said earlier, they're aging. So usually they have some needs that trigger this decision. They are like social needs, physical needs, cognitive needs. And sometimes they themselves or the society believe that because of these needs, they can no longer lead a fulfilling or normal life anymore. And on top of that, as people age, everyone starts telling them what to do. Their children tell them what to do. Their friends tell them what to do. Their doctors tell them what to do. Their pain on the knee tell them what to do. The government in some countries tell them what to do. So it's as if they are no longer capable of making their own choices. So in short, when you're old, people believe that you cannot have a normal life and that you're no longer entitled to make your own decisions. Our philosophy exists to say a clear no to such a statement. We're not performing miracles, but the way we organize our teams, with the way we staff our communities, the way we train our employees, the way we facilitate their interaction with the residents is focused on one objective. It's really to enable them to live that life as normally as possible. Whether it's in terms of physical or cognitive capabilities or social engagement, what we really want to achieve is to keep them connected with their loved ones and the larger community. And to use maybe more technical words, we want them to exercise agency. So concretely, they tell us what they want to do, what they don't want to do, and our job is to make it happen. So from the training of our team to the way we also design the space, which is extremely important, to the way we facilitate and encourage the interactions with the wider world, everything is rooted in this philosophy. What we want is to empower them to live on their own terms. And maybe one more thing, last actually, but not least, everything I've just mentioned is extremely important, but for it to be very successful, we need to ensure that the life of our residents are filled with fun. And I'm not just referring, sorry for this example, but to the typical paper cutting or knitting activities. No, it's about really understanding what brings joy to the residents, what empowers them to develop new skills and to pursue new forms of entertainment. Well, it could be playing in a band or riding a motorcycle. I mean, seniors, they appreciate to learn, they appreciate learning, they appreciate exploring, embracing challenges. And aging should not prevent them from that. That's also what we are here for.
Excellent. I'm expecting to see some really interesting and very different type of activities when we visit.
Sure.
Well, let's also think about these factors that improve quality of life and what you're doing in your philosophy of how you look after them, all this sounds fantastic. How do you measure it? How do you measure that what you're doing is truly making a difference? What are some kind of data analytics that you think you are currently implementing or you would like to have inside this facility?
Okay. So data is extremely important for us because, as I said, I mean, we cannot implement the kind of philosophy I've just explained if we don't perfectly understand our residents. If we don't understand their health conditions, but if we don't understand their risks, and if we don't understand what they enjoy and what they want in life. And so we have quant and quals, to make it short. We have very scientific and mathematical ways of measuring, for instance, the health improvements, which again we're looking at from multiple perspectives: cognitive, physical, emotional. So there are different ways to measure this that are peer-reviewed, internationally recognized, and we also have. We are also very aware that we need to go beyond this. We need to be able to interact with the residents and to talk with their families so that we can measure the improvement. And I mean, measuring it means that we're tracking everything. We're tracking when the residents tell us they're happy. We're tracking when they tell us they're not happy. We're tracking where they tell us they're in pain, or when on the contrary, their comfort has improved a lot. And we're doing it for the we're collecting this data from the residents. We're also collecting it from the families. And at the end, we aggregate this. And it's not like data that we store on our hard drives and that's it. Then we rediscuss these improvements. We rediscuss this information with the residents themselves and with the families. And at least every 6 months, sometimes even more often, we're making sure that we are updating our life plans, our care plans, to be sure that we're really still aligned on what we want to achieve together with them. I don't know if I'm answering your question or not, but
Yes, you are.
how we're doing it. And
Yeah, that's fantastic.
okay, I will tell you one thing. Sorry, it sounds a bit cheesy, but sometimes you can just measure happiness just by the smile the residents and their families are giving you. When someone is unhappy or in pain, you see it. But when someone is happy and proud, you also see it. And that's actually that's the emotional part of our job. And that's also what makes us wake up every morning.
And I think that also could be related to our next and final question, which is about talent development and motivation of talent. And I'm sure job satisfaction ranks highly if people are are able to see that the job that they do is directly related to seeing so many happy faces at work. So our last question here is, how do you motivate and develop talent in a sector that seems so hungry for manpower globally?
This is so I just told you what makes me wake up in the morning, and now you're asking a question about what prevents me from sleeping at night. We're faced with a very high competition for talent and a very significant staff shortage. I mean, you're familiar with the situation given your experience in the industry. So, but from past experience, actually, I've learned that when we enable staff, especially the caregivers, to work in a rewarding and dignified environment. So dignified is important for the resident, but it's also important for the staff. That makes a significant difference. People usually they don't enter this line of work just for the paycheck. And those who do, often they don't stick around for a long time. To be truly committed to senior living, whether you're a cook, a caregiver, or any other role in a community, you must have a passion. And you must feel that you're on a mission. And so because the staff we recruit, they come with this aspiration and they have this desire to fulfill this mission, it's our responsibility to equip them with the appropriate tools, the right tools. We ensure that they can spend quality time interacting with residents, that they clearly perceive their impact on improving the residents' quality of life. This is extremely important for us. So that this alone that doesn't solve the staffing issues, but it helps a lot. And compared with other communities where management styles or resources differ, our staff generally find that our environment is more enjoyable. But as I just said, it's not the only solution. We are also investing heavily, I should say, in developing training programs and career pathways. We want our staff to understand that their roles will evolve, that we will enhance the way they work, but also we will provide them with opportunities for career advancement within our organization. And this also helps to make a difference.
Great, great. And from what I'm hearing, Keppel has a footprint in different countries. On the question of technology, can you share with us some of the tech implementations that you've put in the recent times, especially those relating to the new facility that's going to be opening?
Yeah, okay. So first, we should be super cautious when we refer to tech. As you know, the market is really flooded with technology. There are so many startups selling senior-friendly tech. You know all of them better than I do, actually. But it's really crucial to focus on the technology that is truly beneficial. And I think there are a few key factors we really need to consider. A few questions we need to ask ourselves. Does the technology concretely improve the well-being of our residents? And or does it enhance our staff ability to engage more with the residents? And when I say this, I mean whether it relieves our staff from administrative stuff like time-consuming paperwork, data crushing, all of which take them away from interacting with the resident. And the last question is, does it contribute to creating a safer environment for our residents, their families, and our staff? Our staff safety is also very important. I think these are the three critical parameters. So to give you a more tangible response, technology plays an instrumental role in the communities we're establishing in Asia. And as I told you earlier, we will leverage a lot of data collected from various touch points, which includes IoT, among others. We have the usual suspects like fall detection and prevention, but we're also looking at technologies that analyze residents' activity patterns to offer more personalized activities and treatments. It's all about knowing better your residents and also better risk anticipation, which is crucial because to empower people, to make them more comfortable, you need to anticipate the risks. So that's one thing. And another aim for technology, I think, is to increase our residents' freedom, their ability to go where they want to and to do what they want. So our goal is for them to enjoy complete freedom within our facility while remaining safe. And usually there's always a tension between freedom and safety in senior living communities. How much freedom can we give to the resident without making them unsafe? But actually, technology, I think, has this potential to solve this issue. For example, an individual with cognitive impairment can roam freely, even beyond the community, under the protection of our technology, which includes face recognition and motion monitoring, just to mention a couple. So as I said, you know better than I do what are all the available tech solutions on the market. But this is how I view the contribution of tech to our mission. And our goal is constantly to enhance our ability to deliver care that aligns with our philosophy. And I will never repeat it enough, allowing our residents to live on their own terms, do what they wish, and providing a more personalized experience so that they have a normal life. So in Nanjing, the first community we're opening, we're developing this community as both a showcase and a laboratory to enhance our technology and our innovation efforts. So in Nanjing, we will implement, test, and then refine and improve these tech advancements over time.
Well, sounds awesome. Sounds like a great place to age. And will working at Keppel mean that somebody in the senior living area will have opportunities to travel and work in different countries?
This is, to be honest, a little bit early to make such a promise, but definitely this is the kind of opportunity we would look at.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Those of you who have interesting questions and comments after this, do feel free to put down those comments in the video. Thank you everyone for watching this today. Thank you very much, Nathaniel.
Thank you, Janice. My pleasure. And if I may do it again, you're all welcome to visit our Sindora Nanjing community, which is opening at the moment in China. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you.
CarePage Business is the only feedback platform designed for the health and aging sectors. With CarePage Business, you can uncover powerful customer experience insights, monitor resident or client feedback and complaints in a single, easy-to-use platform, and get the insights you need to drive continuous improvement in services and facilities.